inspiring to me, because we have a whole culture of people who deal with not knowing how to deal with being sabotaged every day, and it's a brain disease called addiction. And if we can't deal with how it feels to be sabotaged, we aren't modeling for them how to cope with that. So it's actually very inspiring to hear this in ministry, because addiction is not a moral character flaw. It is a brain disease, and we need to teach people how to deal with conflict and feeling sabotaged.
Thank you very much. Sir, let's take one more. Let's get one more hand up here. Right here. And then I'll prepare us for all that.
Todd, especially for those of us who are newer to our congregations, are there tools, books on discovering DNA for those of us who don't yet know the stories because we haven't been around long enough?
Yeah. So there are tools. One of the books is written by my colleague Mark Branson on Appreciative Inquiry. It's a really good book. What I basically tell you is the most important thing you're listening for is you're asking people to tell stories and listening for the common themes that give people the most amount of connection, that are the most amount of energy in the life of the church. I mean, what's interesting is you can do an entire, I've done putting people in groups that are like, oh, all we're doing is talking about the good stuff. We need to talk about the bad stuff, the stuff that we need to change. The truth is, if you listen deeply, you will hear the things that need to change. You'll hear people say, you know, I knew I belonged to this church when we did we used to do a senior blessing, where that's at our senior high in high school. At the end of the year, we'd come forward and we would invite parents to put their hands on them. We prayed for every one of them as we sang over them. And I held it, and a 70-year-old man said to me, I started going to this church when I saw us pray for those young people, because I always wanted to be part of a church that prayed for those young people. That's the kind of church we should be. We should be committed to launching them into adulthood. And it was like, yes, that's important. And then he went, just wish we could do better with single adults. Right. We're really good at praying for people in their families. What do we do with people who don't have families? Right. Okay. So learning to pay attention to our biggest gaps are not what we should be and what we are. It's that we're not being who we are. Right? I was with a group of Baptists in New Zealand who were amazing, and they had this great, incredible, interesting ministry. And I asked, and I loved it. I listened to them. They're doing these amazing things in the city of Auckland. It was incredible. And finally, one of my students, I was teaching there, one of my students said, so here's our big struggle. We're doing all these things, but we're Baptists. We don't baptize enough people. I went, oh, their struggle was we're being missional and we're being creative, and they had coffee houses and they had all kinds of events. But I don't know if we're sharing the gospel as much as we should. Those are the best competing values. And so part of listening to DNA is listening really deeply to the stories. And there's some other parts in one of my former colleague Kevin Ford's book called The Transforming Church. He's got a whole thing on paying attention to code or DNA. It's around symbols and around stories. It's a really helpful conversation. Okay. It's a